Hello everyone, welcome back to FPL Star. Today I gonna discuss about FPL popular buy sell comparison and ranking for game week 7. Before starting, if you are new in this channel, please subscribe this channel. Now let's start. In game week 7, I think Haaland is the best pick. If you don't have Haaland, you must go for him because he is in amazing form. In last 5 matches, he scored 8 goals, and his last match against Sevilla, he also scored 2 goals against Sevilla in the Champions League. So he is in great form and his fixture looks medium. Actually, Tottenham menu is hard, but I still think that Haaland can score goal because he is in amazing form and he is an amazing striker, and that's why I think Haaland should be the one if you don't have in your team. Then second option should be Ivan Toney because his fixture looks good. Southampton, Bournemouth in next 4 is amazing, and if you look at his goal involvement ratio per 90 is 0.82, and that's why I think he's a good pick. He's not essential, but because other for like Isak or Mitrovic they are there, and that's why I think Tony is a good option, but he's not essential. But if you want to go for a forward option, then Ivan Toney should be the one. The third and fourth option for game week 7 should be Trippier from Newcastle and Mitrovic from Fulham. Trippier is in great form because Newcastle defense looks good, and that's why I think Trippier is a good option, and he playing as a right back for Newcastle, and Newcastle defense looks amazing this season. 485k manager already transfer him in for game week 7, and his fixture looks good. West Ham, Bournemouth, Fulham, Brentford can be a good face for clean sheet, and that's why I think Newcastle defense you should target, and Trippier should be the one if you go for a Newcastle player, and that's why I think he's a good pick. The fourth option I think should be Mitrovic because he's in great form and he scored goal against hard fixture, but now his fixture looks easy. As his fixture looks easy, that's why I think his performance will improve, and that's why I think Mitrovic is a very good option for your team. In last 5 matches, he scored 4 goals, which is for a 6.8 million forward is amazing, and you can go for Mitrovic as a cheap option of Gabriel Jesus. Now move on to the 5th and 6th buy option for game week 7, who is popularly buying people, and the 5th option is Nick Pope. And Nick Pope is a good buy because I think Newcastle defense looks good, and he is the goalkeeper of Newcastle, and he's a good shot stopper. He stop a lot of shot, and that's why I think he can give you some save point as well, and Newcastle defense looks good. I think that's why Pope is a very good option. And now move on to the 6th position. I think it's a Rashford from Manchester United. In last match he scored 2 goals against his opponent, and he is in great form, and he playing as a striker for Manchester United. He is actually a winger, right winger, but now he is playing as a striker as Martial is injured, and he is the out of position midfielder, and out of position player is very good for FPL, and that's why I think he's a very good buy. But I still think that he's not a good buy because if you look at his fixture, it looks Crystal Palace is defensively good, and Manchester City and Everton defensively solid this season, but Leeds is a very good team to attack, and that's why I think Martial is an optional option, but 717k manager transfer him in for game week 7, and he's the first buy for the game week 7. Now move on to the other 2 popular buy, and they are the 7th place is Martinelli from Arsenal. His value is 6.5 million, and his fixture now looks really hard. Not actually hard, it's medium fixture, and that's why I think if you don't have Martinelli in your team, now it's an optional option. It's not a mandatory because his fixture looks hard and by now. And the 8th option is Pascal Groves. His next fixture is good, Bournemouth, but after that there is a tricky run of fixture that Crystal Palace, Liverpool and Tottenham looks good in this season, and that's why I think Pascal Groves is also an optional option. And the last 2 option you should consider is Anthony. A lot of people buying Anthony, 333k people buying Anthony ahead of game week 7, and if you look at his last match stat, in 1 match he scored 1 goal, and he playing as a right winger for Manchester United, and he's the coach favorite. That's I think he obviously start for Manchester United. He's a regular starter, should be, and that's why a lot of people buying him, and I can understand, but you need to look at some game ahead of buying a FPL asset, and that's why I put him on optional category. And Manchester United fixer I already get looks medium actually. And the last option people buying is McAllister. It's a no-brainer to buy him because he's a defensive midfielder and he's not an advanced player. And if you go for a Brighton midfielder, you can go for Trossard or Pascal Gross, but I don't think McAllister is a very good option because he's just a penalty taker and he scored goal in 4 goal, and 2 of them are penalty and 1 free kick, amazing free kick, but he's not a good player in open play. So that's why I think McAllister is not a good option and you should ignore it. Now I will move on to the sale ranking, and first sale in game week 1 or game week 7 actually will be obviously Rodrigo. If you have Rodrigo in your team, you must sell him because he is injured and that's why you need to sell him. The second sale people selling is Kulusevski, and I think it's a good sell because he's among the 6th sale for game week 7, but I think it's essential to sell Kulusevski because in last match he was benched and Richarlison started, and I don't think that he will play regularly for Tottenham now. And if you look at his stat, it's also don't look good. In last 5 matches he got only 14 points, just 2.8 points per match, and that's not a good option, and that's why I think Kulusevski should be sell and it's an essential sell. Now move on to the other two, and it's Kyle Walker. You need to sell Kyle Walker, and it is essential because if you look at the Manchester City match against Sevilla, in this match Kyle Walker missed because he was injured, and you don't need an injured player in your team. He was a minor injury, but I still think that in Tottenham match he will not start, and that's why I think you should get rid of Walker because he also not attacking player, and that's why you should sell Kyle Walker, and it's an essential sale. And the 4th sale you should make is Perisic because his fixture is hard. He's playing advanced role, I think, but still he's a sale because it's a good sale. There's one area that Perisic is good in his gameplay is his attacking. He playing as a left winger or left wing back for Tottenham. Perisic is a good sell because of his rotation risk and as well as his fixture. Now move on to the other 2 sell people selling is Mendy. A lot of people selling Mendy, and I think it's a good sell because I think now Mendy will not start all the game match because he make a lot of error. Kepa should start some of the match, and that's why you need a goalkeeper who start regularly, and you don't need a 5 million goalkeeper who is not playing, and that's why I think Mendy selling is a good sell. And Chelsea defense also doesn't look good, and that's why Mendy is a sell and it's a good sell. The 6th people selling is Greenwood, and I know why people selling him because they want to go for 3 forward option, and that's why he is a good sell. Now move on to the 6th, 7th and 8th position sale, and it's Alexander Arnold. People selling Alexander Arnold. He is not in good form, and in last match he was subbed in 58 minutes, which is a really bad thing for his owner. But if you look at Liverpool fixture, it's hard, and that's why I think selling Alexander Arnold is an optional option. And you can sell obviously Alexander Arnold now because his fixture looks hard. He's not in good form, and Liverpool defense looks shaky, and that's why he is optional option. And his attacking ability is not also very good this season. And now if you look at the other option, like 8th option, people selling Luis Diaz, and I think it's also an optional sell because Luis Diaz playing as a left winger, but now he has some minute risk because Jota is now fit, and I think he will take some minute from Luis Diaz. And Liverpool is not in great form, and this is also a reason 170k manager transferred him out from his team. And if you look at Luis Diaz, goal minimum ratio is 0.50, which is medium, and that's why I think he's an optional sell. You can sell him because of hard fixture. Now move on to the last 2 sell people selling, and these 2 sells you should ignore. You should ignore Gabriel Jesus selling because in Everton match Gabriel Jesus obviously can score goal, and he's an amazing form. In last match against Manchester United he blanked, but that's not all over the world. I think he will improve and he will gain some return, and that's why if you look at his goal minimum ratio is 0.92, which is amazing for forward. And I think you should ignore selling Gabriel Jesus. And last, you should ignore selling Salah because a lot of FPL manager will captain him against both, and if you get rid of Salah you can hurt, and it can hurt. I think that Liverpool fixture is hard, but I still think that Salah is a very good option to hold, and you need to ignore this because a lot of FPL manager will captain him in old games, and 371k managers selling him already, and he's the second most sale player in Game 7, but I don't think it's a good sell. You should ignore this. And that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please like this video, and if you are new in this channel, obviously subscribe this channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Happy fantasy, good luck for your team.